Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 12/1/22. We're right in the thick of it, this silly season. You know when that is, right? That's when Santa Claus visits your house and comes and gives them Christmas gifts. And oh man, I almost lost it yesterday. Everybody wanted to see the Christmas tree lighting. Biden, I have a question for you, Biden. Since you want to go electric, don't you think cutting down an 80-foot tree is something we shouldn't be doing? I don't think we should be doing that. That's harming our environment. Bastards. These people are going to be pumping it down your throat for years now. They're making so much money with this stupid nonsense. It's unbelievable. But meanwhile, we have people out with millions of people out there with leaf blowers, blowing leaves, and wasting gas, and blowing out. Are there any on the leaf blowers? Let me ask you a question. Do they have any type of emissions? No. They stink up the whole fucking block. You see how ironic and bullshit this nonsense is that this administration has put about? That they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They're going to make everything electric by 2030? Good fucking luck! That's right. It's about as true as landing somebody on the moon. Okay. To get back into Artemis, we have in the flat Earth community have some problems with Artemis. And let's just start off with the construction of the rocket. It looks like a joke anyway, but it's very aerodynamic, isn't it? Now remember, aerodynamic is just for the atmosphere of Earth, okay? That's all that's the purpose is. Because once you're in space, you might as well be in a fucking Borg ship. It doesn't matter, okay? Aerodynamics don't take effect in space. But before we get into space, let's talk about getting to space, all right? This is an interesting point. NASA likes to arch over in all of their launches, because it's a dome up there, but see, I got started already. They like to arch over and claim they like to loop around the Earth to build up speed to shoot off into space. We have a problem with that because the GoPro rocket that was launched, first off, went straight up. But the problem is the fact that it just stopped, okay? Whether that was the dome or some sort of barrier up there, I have no fucking idea, all right? But my point is, it stopped. So anything with a rocket at some point stops. It doesn't go anywhere. So what is the point of arching? So that dismisses arching and going around the fucking spinning wet ball and off into space. That's all bullshit. Just by watching that one video of the GoPro rocket, of having a real rocket, an amateur rocket, granted, go off into space. I mean, not 73 miles up. That's not space, by the way, okay? 73 miles up and stops. So whatever has a rocket on it, again, there's a barrier, okay? Now, let's say for argumental sake, we do live on a spinning wet ball, okay? And going around this spinning wet ball actually gets you off into space. Then what happens? All of a sudden, you just hit the bleeding part of space. The first fucking thing your ship's gonna do is stop. It's not gonna continuously go, because rockets don't work in fucking space. There's no atmosphere. You can't make a flame in space. All right? I can't believe people still believe this shit, and they don't understand that none of this exists. Everything is bullshit. Okay, so let's say you're able to move in space in a rocket, okay, that in the vacuum of space, and manage to have a flame and be propelled. Okay, so what are you pushing against? All right, submarines push against the pressure of the water. Okay, that's how they're able to turn. But when you're in space, there is no pressure. You're in a vacuum. You're in nothing. There's no way of turning. Your rocket would spin like a fucking bottle top in space. If the rocket could even be lit, it would just spin around like this. That's what it would do. How do you brake? What thrusters have enough power and enough fuel to brake a rocket? How do you stop? How do you maneuver this thing? Okay? And also, let me ask you another question. Since this was an unmanned ship, the Artemis, how are they able to even control this fucking thing by remote with 280,000 miles away? You remember your little remote control car? Yeah, that little buggy that you had, that little thing. If you went away like 100 feet, lost connection. If you have your drone up too far, lost connection. But yet we have the technology to have the power to control something that's 268,000 miles away, just like the buggies on the moon. Yes, yeah, on Mars. Yes, we are able to control those through the radio waves. Now remember, the radio waves are going through the atmosphere, through the Van Allen belt. Okay, yes, the Van Allen belt is poisonous, and they've been trying to figure out how to get past that barrier for years. What? Wait a minute. What did we do in 1969? Where did we go? Didn't we go through the Van Allen belt like 6-7 times? No problem. Yeah, well, the astronauts are alive, aren't they? Alive and kicking. So, stopping in space is like being, or ice. All right, let's talk about ice for a minute. You're in a car and you're on a lake and it's all ice, okay? And you have no traction. You know, you've got none of those snow things on your tires. You just have regular tires and you're traveling. And you brake and the car, it doesn't stop, okay? What's going to stop that car? Okay, gravity, right? But gravity doesn't exist, all right? That's what people would say. But my point is, you would just slide on that ice, and that's exactly what you would do in space. There's no way of stopping anything in space, slowing it down, turning it, maneuvering it. It's impossible. You can't do that in space. And if you can, prove to me. Give me a fucking equation. Write down an equation that figures out how you stop in space, how you turn and maneuver a spacecraft in space. How is it possible? Tell me how a fucking rocket works in space. Okay, because we've already done the vacuum shit. All right? The vacuum stuff proves it right there. You can't even fly a helicopter, for Christ's sake, if there's no air. You can't light a rocket off without air. You need oxygen. You know, wake the fuck up. I thank you for subbing and thank you for viewing my videos. I'll be